Connections. Dancers are all about connections, connectivity, being able to have community in movement. When we look at movement throughout the earth, there's always this connection that's happening, whether it's through nature or through relationships. There's always some type of movement and connection, and so that's what dance is about. It's about connecting together and being able to work together as a community and communicate in a language that speaks to the heart.
Welcome everyone to Gettin Down with the Collective. I'm Lamaiya Lancaster, co-founder and principal choreographer for L Theory Collective. We are a community-based dance performance group with a dedication to inclusion through equitable access to community engagement in the art of dance. Today we're continuing our series, Connecting to Connections, a virtual dance concert. And I have with me Cory Ratliff. Hello, Cory.
Hey, Lamaiya, how are you?
I
Thank you for
am.
having me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And before we get into it, I like to ask a couple of getting to know you questions. So all of my
Sure.
people who have done this, I kind of spring it on them like surprise. Our first question is coffee or tea?
Oh, okay. I used to be a coffee drinker, so I just stopped in January.
And how has that journey been? I can't imagine.
I know, yeah. Well, I just went on a weight loss journey, and part of that weight loss journey was giving up coffee. So, yeah, and then you don't have to give up coffee, but that was one of the things that I needed to do. So, yeah,
Ah,
and it's been good. It's been good. I didn't have any headaches or any withdrawal symptoms, so it was good. So, but I've been 3 months now without doing coffee. It's
oh,
pretty amazing.
wow. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I've been about 1 hour. Um, so moving on, books or movies?
Movies, definitely. Yeah, I'm very much into spy movies, espionage type movies. I love those. So
Oh, great. Now, what was the last movie that you saw?
let's see. Yeah, I can't even remember. Maybe it was a 007 movie. Yeah, yeah. I think just keeping up with the 007 movies and even going back and seeing some of the older ones.
Hmm.
So yeah, that would be it.
Awesome. Well, you are in good company. A lot of people have said the same, especially because we've all been, Netflix binging or what have you.
Right.
All right. So, for vacation, would you rather be at the top of a snow-capped mountain or on the beach and in the ocean?
On the beach in the ocean. Very quick to answer that.
Yes, absolutely. Right there with you. Especially now that the weather's getting warmer too. I'm like, oh, if it doesn't snow again, it'll be too soon. That's fine.
Mm, yeah, I'm loving your background, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have to have a little bit of it with me, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's go on ahead and get into it. Can you share with us your dance background, your experience with dance and other things? Yeah, just give us a little bit of your history and your interests.
Sure. I can remember back in high school, and actually it probably goes back before then. My mother was in charge of a children's choir when we were in church, and so I would be the one to help her with getting all the moves for the songs that we would do. And so that was just as a little kid. So I'd always, loved moving, loved dancing, loved music. And as I got into high school, I wanted to do everything there had to do with the arts. And so my school that I graduated from, Highland Park High School, had a dance program at that time, and they had, well, as far as I can remember, hadn't had any guys or hip hop in their group, and so in their dances. And so we asked, can we do it? And we started the first hip hop dance group at Highland Park High School. It was awesome. Had a great time. But I also joined show choir. I loved show choir. And so that became a place where some of my influences of Paula Abdul, I know I'm aging myself here, but Paula Abdul and Janet Jackson, they were some of my influences, and even Madonna. So the three of them were really great influences as I watched their concerts, and then the choreographers that helped their shows. They were just some of my great influences that helped me. And even I end up influencing the show choir to have some of those moves as well. So people were like, how did you get us to do that stuff? But I really enjoyed it. And I continued on in dance, even when I went to college. Even though I got a degree in music education, I still did several dance classes. Just in modern technique. I was doing Lamaiya technique, and just really, really enjoyed all of that. Once I got out of college, I was doing more choreography. I did it for several community theater organizations, just doing choreography here and there for all ranges of ages. I mean, from little kids to seniors, and doing shows for seniors, and these seniors, they got into it. It was great working with the seniors, but it's just something that has always been with me. And even when I got into my career employment, which is being a pastor at a church, I continued that. We did new creations, new productions. I started my own dance company, and that's called A Lot's Dance, and we're celebrating 10 years this year. But it's been just an amazing thing for me to be pursuing. I love movement, and I know that according to God, this is my passion, and so I love being able to share it. I love teaching it. I love being able to inspire others. I love critiquing people's dances so that they can give more. I love it all.
Yes, yes. So you talked a little bit about it. I wonder if you could share a little bit more, because you do so much in the community. That's how we actually met too. Can you speak a little bit about the community work you do with bringing the arts and community and dance to the community?
Yes, most certainly. Yeah, so I am a part of the Waukegan Arts Council, and part of my journey with them, how I started with them, was I attended an arts fair. We call it Walktown. In Walktown. And when I attended it, there was no dance represented. And I was just like, this is kind of odd. It's an arts festival and dance is not represented. So I sent a letter and I said, hey, can we get some dance represented? And they were just like, hey, well, why don't you join us? Join the organization. And so it started the journey of me kind of being the spokesperson for dance in Waukegan. And but with that, we've been able to start what's called the Lake County Dance Showcase. And so we've been able to invite dance companies from all over Lake County, dance schools, dance companies, to basically do a showcase for our community. And it has been very good. I think it's been 5 years now. 5 years that we've done the showcase, and certainly we invited your company and CLC, and it has been a wonderful time meeting all these other dancers. But I think what was so special about doing that was creating community. Just to see that other dancers are out there, and of course that, but to actually bring them together where it's not competition. But it's an opportunity to just come and be with one another. I think that's what's really special. I've also done some other things out in the community. I choreographed for 7 years with the North Shore Women's League, of which they do the cotillions for those ladies that are turning 18 and are moving into adulthood. And so it's just been an honor to work with the community in that way. And I just love just all these different connections, because ultimately it's about people and connecting people. And we just get this awesome opportunity to connect in movement with people. And so I love to inspire. I love to take on the challenge of people that are just like, well, I can't dance and I can't do this. And I'm like, oh no, it'll be all right. Let's just do some of these moves here. You'll look great, And so then that's really what helped me start even A Lot's Dance. my own company, is that I wanted to be able to pull in kids from the neighborhood and cultivate that movement that's inside of them, and give them the opportunity to perform on a stage where they probably wouldn't get a chance to, but we are able to take these kids and show them what it looks like to communicate emotionally, communicate a message through movement, and then put them on a stage in 8 weeks, and get them to put on these really wonderful shows with costumes and lights and great music. So yeah, I mean, doing things in the community has always been just a push for me, and I enjoy it.
Yes, and you're very, very good at it.
Thanks.
You've had some great, one of the experiences that I had with Cory, we actually did a flash mob performance at a walk for seniors.
Yeah.
And that was such a great opportunity. I brought students from CLC. I had other dancers from the community who had stepped away from dance for a while and found out about this and came back. And then there were dancers from your community as well. And,
Hmm.
you found spaces for us to have rehearsals in, and we were coming together for that. So like you said, getting to meet and make these connections with other people who love movement regardless of their background, regardless of their technique level, any of that, and then being able to go out and surprise everybody at the finish line with that.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
It really, really was. And just, I mean, my students were still, just a little background. My students that I teach at the college, we do community engagement projects with hip hop, and some of them had participated in that. And that was, for some of them, one of the first times they saw how you can take what we're doing in the studio out into the community. It isn't always about,
Nice.
being on stage, or, there's so many different ways. And that kind of started sparking those little fires in their head too, of like, okay, when I leave here, what can I do besides just teaching, like in addition to teaching. So
Even with what you say, yeah, excuse me, Lamaiya, even with what you say, it really helps people get outside of themselves.
yeah.
Because a lot of times we take dance for ourselves, and we want to just, hey, experience this for ourselves and have that feeling on stage. But what this community engagement does is it forces you to now think about others and bring this craft into other spaces so that others can be touched. And granted, yeah, you can do that, some of that on the stage, but you have the security of lights, you have the security of stage floor, but when you get outside of that environment, you have to work with what's around, and there's a creativity even in that, to work with what's around you. So yeah, I think community engagement is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a perfect bridge into what we're going to talk about next. For Connections, a virtual dance concert. This was a event that L Theory hosted back in December of 2020, and you had a unique sort of part in this event that we did, where you actually taught a live stream masterclass for our patrons, and it was attached to the concert. It happened about a half an hour before we streamed the concert, but people were able to get on via Zoom and do this workshop. So can you speak a little bit to that, and what that experience was like, especially being in that virtual space?
Sure, sure. It's such a great idea, Lamaiya, that you put together of being able to have a masterclass beforehand. If you think about some of the professional theater work, they'll do like a little session before the show, or even a session after the show, where where the audience can get a little greater understanding of what they're about to experience or what they saw. And so this is just another opportunity that, when it comes to dance, to be able to open this up to the community and say, hey, just to get you in the attitude of what you're going to see, why don't we dance together? And so we created, I was able to create movement that was accessible to everyone. And that was what I think the audience needed to see, that you don't have to be threatened just because it's going to be a dance concert. You can actually feel free to come and experience, and you don't have to have the pressure of having to look the same. Here's an opportunity just for you to just get up and move about and join in with all of us as we prepare for a dance concert. And so getting ready for that was a lot of fun. It wasn't difficult at all. You know, I love these spaces. So I love being able to get to know new people. Was able to have my music out there. Was able to find a really good room to do it, fix my lighting, and we were in there. And it was great to be able to work with the people that were on the call. But, you know, a person has to have clear instructions during these virtual, you know, times, you know, so that, you know, you could tell people, hey, make sure everybody's muted. Okay, so that nobody steals away the speaker that's teaching. So, you know, because you get all those type of, you know, technical quirks. But, you know, it was so easy. And I know that people felt very comfortable. And just from the feedback I heard from them, and just all of us being able to do it together was really good as well. And so it was just a good experience. Yeah, I don't think I ran into any technical issues, but I think everybody really had a good time with it.
Yeah, and I don't even know if you realize, but because we were able to see, you know, our registration lists and things, we had people in that class that were from, you know, children like age 10 all the way up to 70, you know, that
Okay,
were,
awesome.
yes, that were participating. And I think too, there is this level of, you know, technology can, you know, provide access and barriers at the same time. But some of the access that I found, like you said, to Dance for People is one, we had people logging in from all over the country. And two, there is a safety and a security when you're in your home and in your space doing it, that may or may not always be there when you're in a physical space amongst other people, even though we strive as community builders to make that, you know, communal safe space for people to dance in person. But I think even for some people who maybe that was their first experience with, you know, a movement class, let's say, like a workshop, that was a really great environment, from some of the feedback that I got, for them to do that in, which is something that this kind of virtual space has provided us that maybe we never thought about before. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another idea too with the virtual spaces with dance instructors is to provide modifications,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because when we get into these spaces, when you have somebody who's 70, you know, they may not be able to turn fast, you know, and so just in our virtual space, it allows us the opportunity to offer, you know, modifications so that people can still feel good about what they're doing, you know. And so, you know, if you can't do the pivot turn, you know, then just do a pivot, you know. And so and that's what I've gleaned from other classes that I've seen and attended, is just being able to offer modifications when you're working with a wide range of skills. And you know, and I love the Jose Limon company. They have been offering classes on IG. And when I watched their open classes, the guy just makes it one teacher that I was watching, he said he just makes it very accessible to people, you know, whether it's your experienced dancer or whether, you know, you're just coming into this. He offered so many different options. And I think that's so important in the virtual space. When you want to be about community, then make it accessible for everyone. You know, that everyone is able to feel like a success after taking your class.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So can you share with us, what does the future hold for you, dance, business, with your church? Otherwise, you know, we're in a very interesting place now. So, yeah, what does the future look like for you right now?
Yeah, so A Lot's Dance, my company has taken a different turn this year. We were not successful with the virtual space, unfortunately, you know, and that was like surprising to me. I thought, you know, that my students would keep going in it, but many of them just fell off. But we decided to do in-person classes, and so we limited to 10 students, and that has kicked off very well. And I'm like, wow, you know, so we're gonna take a step back from doing the 8 weeks to show, and we're actually going to spend time doing actual class instruction during this COVID, you know, time. And so I'm actually very satisfied with that, because it allows us to really have the kids and the other students and the adults really solidify in technique. So we will be doing a recital at the end of 13 weeks, but it allows us a little bit more time to really get the technique going into these students. So that's what's happening with the Lots Dance. But also have what's called Dance Mission International. And so this project is an opportunity of bringing dance teachers to go with me on mission. And so we missed that opportunity last year because of the pandemic, but now we're coming back and we're going to be leaving in May. And so we're going to be going to Uganda in May to do instruction with a group of students called Pure Love Kids Uganda. And I've been working with this group since 2015, but that opportunity has opened up. And so we're going to be providing dance instruction to those kids. And then after we've mentored those kids, we're going to take those kids out to other places so that they can mentor other kids. So our desire is mentorship, to empower, not so that we're not the ones that's like, hey, do this. No, we want to empower you. When you teach, here's some things that you can do. And so just giving these kids the tools to be able to teach other kids. And so we're very excited about that opportunity. I'm also doing virtual dance concerts. We did one in the top of February, and it was a really great dance concert, just showed a variety of skills. I'm planning for another one probably before I leave on my mission. And I'm just going to be calling just different friends to be a part of this concert. And what I noticed from that, people were very inspired. There are some people that probably don't watch dance, but because of the relationship, they're just like, oh, it's you? Okay, yeah, so I'll watch your concert. And, I get comments like, oh, I was so touched by this number, or, I was sitting in my home crying, just because of this number. And so we really want to keep that going. I don't know when we'll return to being able to have a full auditorium, of people that will attend our shows, but at least we can do this, and provide that space. Another thing that I'm interested in doing is that the summer is upon us. And so I'm like, I don't want to miss summer like we did in 2020. I want to use 2021 to really get dance out into the parks, to really get dance out into the downtown area. I think that, whether it's one or two dancers, and it's kind of like what scripture says, where 2 or 3 people are gathered in my name, I'll be there in the midst of you. So even if I get 1 or 2 dancers that'll come and join me, I want to just create these pockets of joy, if you will, pockets of hope, where we can just do that throughout the city, in the parks, because people are walking, people are, taking advantage of the parks that are open. And so there are people there. So why don't we bring dance to them? It's kind of like what Alvin Ailey said, dance is for the people. So let's bring it to the people.
Yes, exactly. And we've talked about that. I will be there this summer outside dancing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I always love these moments and experiences we have to just, we've collaborated. I've worked with you in the community, but even just to sit and share our love of dance and community engagement with each other and with others. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, Lamaiya. You are awesome. Just all that you've accomplished and everything. It's been great. And I'm glad to have you as a partner here in the Lake County area. So look, let's do this. Let's do it more.
Absolutely. We are there. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today for Connecting to Connections. And I will see you next time when we get down with the collective.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high. Still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I'll rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance? As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally, there I go rising.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise.